Continue on now,
She's
the
gotta
meeting, rest of the
collect them
meeting.
all. I mean, we always just leave and.
We are on to recognition of visitors. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to address the board on on an agenda item? Seeing no one else but Jonathan, we'll move on then. And I know you already spoke to us about the issues you wanted to. Finance. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following finance action items A through H
Second.
Where are we?
on number 8.
It's on page 4.
I know, give me a second. Yeah.
It's
Thank
on-
you.
Where it's on your screen.
Second. Who first?
Did-
I firsted it.
I
First,
seconded
that's a
it.
first and a
I
second. Any
seconded.
discussion?
I firsted it.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? And we would like to, again, we always get such generous donations from the PTOs and various organizations throughout the community. Thank you for the donations noted tonight. Number 9, professional personnel. As recommended that the Board of Education approve the following professional personnel action items A through E.
So moved.
Second.
First and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, just one quick comment. I just want to give a shout out to our athletic director. He secured this varsity gymnastics coach after many, many starts and stops. And you would think he had this lifelong love for gymnastics, the way he was so dedicated. Just want to say thank you to our AD, Len Keys, for working so hard on that.
And can I ask a question about the freshman basketball coach? I only heard this in the buzz for the girls. I believe this woman is an elementary school teacher.
Correct.
And someone said, can elementary school teachers coach sports, is what someone said.
Why not? Why not?
But no, time-wise.
Probably
They
because
just
they,
start their practices,
A
like
certain
they
time.
adjust
Okay,
their
got it.
practices to a different
Or
time.
if there's an
that works.
assistant, maybe the assistant would help, no?
Assistant coaches.
Yeah, we've had, previously, we've had elementary teachers coach
Okay.
sports, yeah. Any other discussion?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstention? That item carries. Item number 10, support personnel. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following support staff action items A through F.
So moved.
Second.
First and a second, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed, any abstention? That item carries. Item number 11, correspondence for action. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the following correspondence action items A through E.
So, second.
That's a first and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. On the one on the high school curriculum changes, there seems to be some changes, is it Spanish?
Spanish,
Will that result in any reduction in FTEs?
no.
No.
The reduction, I mean, any reductions or additions would be based on student course requests. It's just streamlining some of the courses, actually to try and increase enrollment, I think, right, Dave?
Right, so there's, some of the courses had sort of too many levels, and it was getting to the point where not all of those levels were necessary, and it was also creating a problem with enrollment in that, neither level would truly have enough students in it to run. So they've restructured the middle school program, which will then filter into the high school program, so that it's much more manageable and much more beneficial to the students. Similar to what we ended up having to do with the math program about 4 years ago.
Okay. And I do have some suggestions on the international, admission of international students policy, but given the hour, I'm wondering if I can just funnel those to Ms. Monroe as opposed to going over them.
That's why I
Or
would never,
Mr. Cooper or
I would
whatever.
suggest that we take them off for second reading,
right.
and then we can discuss.
Yeah, it was just
further
one, it's just that
revisions.
one, the 51, 52.
Sure. And we're scheduling a policy committee meeting so we can review those
Okay.
suggestions at that next meeting.
Okay, okay.
I just want, can I ask what the impetus was for this policy?
Yeah, we've been having a few problems with the intent of people wanting to have foreign exchange students here and not having connections to high school students, particularly bringing people over to be nannies for them.
Oh.
So
Or getting paid and they don't have a
Right,
student.
so we,
Host family.
we felt that, in recent years, we've had a few instances of that, so we wanted to, have a policy that addressed some of that. So we would, obviously, they would have, in the policy, we put in there that they would have they would be paired up with a high school student, or if there's some
saw that.
exception, it could be brought to the principal's attention.
Because it seemed to me it was what we've always been doing, so that's what surprised me, why this suddenly appeared. And I don't think, well, we never I don't think we've ever had any F-1 visa students.
Right.
But we've been pushing for that legislatively with Congress to change that, so.
Yeah.
Mostly for North Country, where they're
Right.
looking for students, and it's beneficial to both the students coming and the students that are there, because they're in such tiny districts and they're so spread apart,
Sure.
they can't merge with other districts.
Right.
So this would allow them to do it, and it's kind of discriminatory, because private schools are allowed to keep those students for 4 years, but public schools can only have them for 1 year.
Right.
So,
And most of my
Trying to
suggestions,
change that.
I just, some of our language, but there's one clause that I think I would just recommend that it kind of be relooked at, because I'm not sure it belongs in the policy.
I had a question on the curriculum changes, on professional communication. That's not replacing public speaking, but it looks similar to the curriculum to public speaking. One of the new English courses.
Right, it's an additional course similar to public speaking, but more in the lines of also being able to, it's sort of a combination of some of the things that were done in journalism and public speaking, but more up-to-date in terms of using like social media and things of that nature, and more technical writing, as opposed to, it's a more targeted way of writing that you would use in a workplace. Technical writing skills, things of that nature. There seemed to be a general interest for that from students.
The reason I ask is I know, I believe, so I won't say I know, I thought that the public speaking, there was an interest in an additional class, like not everybody got into public speaking that wanted to get into public speaking, does that sound?
No.
No, everybody got in,
Yeah,
okay.
That didn't come up during the discussion, no.
Okay. So with the Career and Finance 1 and 2, Writers and Artists of New York, Professional Communication, is it classes that students have talked about an interest in, or is it just development as on an administrative level, or interest by a teacher to teach? I just want to make sure there's a need, I guess is the question I'm asking. If we need to add, because would we be adding staff, or would they be teaching different classes? I guess I'm not
No,
sure.
they didn't feel it'd have any, an increase in staffing. It was more just to fill student interest. It was sort of a joint effort between students and teachers within the department that brought the proposal forward. Students were just looking at, some of the electives are signing up for now. Might be a little bit larger, the class sizes in nature, or not necessarily things that students are looking for, but just to fulfill a requirement, they're taking those. So they're just looking for other avenues to be able to complete their English requirement through different electives, but they don't feel it'll have a negative impact on FTE.
Okay, that's, I guess,
And
my question.
one other point that we've talked about the last couple of years is students can get 5 units of credit in English, but a lot of times they've not been able to because of scheduling, so this allows some other
Great.
options
No,
for
that's
them.
great. Thank you.
I also just want to compliment the business department on that financial literacy course. It seems like something that maybe all students should have, so that they don't build up their credit card debt, et cetera, or know how to write checks,
Adults could use it too.
whatever. So I think that's great. We'll see how popular it is.
And the only comment I would add is on item E, again, this year, our town will be hosting the annual fireworks on Thanksgiving Eve, Wednesday night at the middle school, and we thank them again for sponsoring that community event and using the facility. So hopefully it'll pass, I'm sure. But okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That item carries. And next, recognition of visitors. Anyone who would like to address the board on a non-agenda item? Okay, no one? Future meetings. As I said earlier in the beginning of the meeting, tomorrow at 4 p.m. there will be a community forum at the middle school dealing with seeking community input on what the community is looking for in our next superintendent. And then there will be another community forum Monday night at 7 p.m. here at the high school. We have a Board of Education meeting on November 18th. Anticipated executive session at 6, 7 p.m. regular board meeting. That will be held at Glenmont Elementary. And then the next meeting after that is December 2nd, 6 p.m. anticipated executive session here at the high school with the regular board meeting. Actually, I think we'll change that to 5 PM. That will be the December
Oh,
meeting. We'll
we
change
can do that.
so that we can preliminary start discussing future contract issues. Yeah. We'll start at 5 on December 2nd. That we do not have a need to go into the executive session. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
First and second, all in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you. Thank you for everybody for coming.